Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. I'm going to do my best to look in the camera, but I've got to look at my computer also to see what kind of questions you may have. So let me know. Good morning. Every day is today. Oh, Dion, you're so clever. You're so clever. Every day is Saturday. Absolutely, man. Especially on Saturday. Everybody can join me today because every day is Saturday. Um, Don't know if you saw. Good morning, Nathan. How are you? Thanks for joining. Don't know if you guys have seen the interview with Jason Pritchard yesterday, but I didn't know what chapter he was in this book. Jason and his wife Jennifer are chapter 14 in this book. If you have it, an amazing story. Roldan, how are you? Good morning. So I thought maybe as people join, we could talk about the real estate market in general because it is kind of behaving as I expected, as I shared with you a month ago or so. So, just to remind everybody what I was thinking, about a month ago, the 30-year mortgage rate or rates in general jumped about a point to a point and a quarter very quickly. You heard Matt, the mortgage guy, and I talk about it. You heard Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage talk about the floor rate going up. It came on and it came on really quick. In fact, it went up. It went up over 1%. And if you believe a lot of YouTubers, that was supposed to cause real estate to crash 10%. I have told you over and over that's not the case. The world doesn't quite work that way. The consumer is predictable, and I gave you the following prediction, which is happening right now. Rates went up. Everybody who didn't buy a home that wanted a home late last year and who took the holidays off and said it's crazy, they were going to come out and buy. And frankly, they would do stupid things. The consumer is so predictable, right? Because there are conversations happening at the kitchen table or in the car or wherever that says, honey, I want a new house, or we need to do this, or we need to do that before we are priced out. That is how you can have almost 800 homes in a month in the county of LA go for $100,000 over list. That is how you can have 52% of homes that sold in February go for over list. This is owner occupants doing dumb stuff. It's the champagne cork popping off the champagne bottle. It's the last hurrah. It's going to be spectacular if you are an owner selling at this point, but it will settle down, right? Shake up a bottle of champagne, let the cork fly. It's an impressive thing for a few seconds, and then it's over. We're in that right now. I think prices are going to go up, and we're going to see Case-Shiller and FHFA and all of these other reports in the months to come with, wouldn't shock me if it's 20%, certainly north of 15 appreciation. We may have pulled forward the full year of appreciation in the first 4 or 5 months, but again, it will end. So if you're an investor, I want you to know your market. I want you to know average. It's what I teach. It's what I talk about. I did a video earlier in the week, how to do the math, because I think it was important. It's one, if you have, there's a playlist on my channel, very new. I bet you it only has like 6 videos in it. It's called Whiteboard. I plan to do more of those now. It's one of the reasons I got the office, because I couldn't get a whiteboard in my kid's bedroom, at least not well. So go figure out the math. Don't overpay. I'm very concerned. Some of you out there have been doing awesome doing the work, but you're starting to feel, I don't know, stressed. It's okay. There'll be another deal. I've written 100 offers. In 2020, I wrote 100 offers and didn't get any of them. Know your numbers. It's okay. If somebody wants to overpay, especially an owner occupant who gets better rates than you, who puts less down than you, who is not concerned with yield at all, let them come around. Let rates go up. Let the recession happen. Deals will be aplenty. So that's what's going on in the real estate market. It is the champagne cork is flying out of the bottle, and you're seeing all the impressive spray right now. It'll probably go on till the 1st or the 15th of May. So we have some more time because consumers they'll follow each other. It's almost comical how predictable it is. So that's what I wanted to say about the real estate market. Times will get better. It will get better. Motivated sellers will start to show up. We will see your buy box. If you're one of my students, you know what I mean. If not, look it up on my channel. You will see your buy box quantities grow. More importantly, we'll see days on market grow. That's the sign that the slowdown has teeth. Now, remember, a slowdown does not equal crash. Everybody wants this to be a rug pull. It's not going to be. Anna Kelly and I think the Lumberjack and Dion maybe and I did a video 2 or 3 weeks ago talking about how there's no crash coming. So go back and watch those. Let's see what everybody's doing here. So again, Dion, Nathan, Roldan, good morning. Better Home Rental, good morning. Dan, good morning. Lumberjack, good morning. Dan, cool question. If Powell only goes 25, will rates go down? If he goes 50, will rates go up? How about the stock market? So again, we'll be very clear on this. So when we say rates, I'm going to answer it in a couple of ways. I'll do the 2-year, the 10-year, and then what I think you're asking about mortgage rates. So there's kind of 3 levels of this. So on Wednesday, I think it's 2:00 Eastern, 11:00 Pacific, Jerome Powell comes out. He raises a 1/4 point. What happens? The 2-year probably does nothing. 2-year does nothing. 10-year, probably nothing. And the 30-year mortgage rate, if anything, goes up 1 or 2 basis points, like very little. I think Jerome Powell told the market 2 weeks ago that he was raising a 1/4, and I think the market is already adjusted. So that's rates. 25 basis point, nothing happens. Basically nothing. 50. Woo! That's what he needs to do. That's what he has to do. That's what he's too chicken to do. That will raise rates across the board. The market's not ready. And so again, I think the market expects a 1/4. I would expect the 2-year to go up by at least probably 30 basis points. So the 2-year, last time I checked, is 1.97. So it'll probably go to like 2.3. Because what will happen if Jerome Powell does his freaking job is the simple move of moving half versus a 1/4. He's telling Wall Street he's in charge. I'm Paul Volcker. You're not important. I got to fix this. And then what happens with Wall Street is they will go, holy cow, we're in trouble. This guy means business. And they will adjust everything really, really fast. So I think the 2-year goes up by 0.3 at least. I think the 10-year, the 10-year is 197. Sorry, the 2-year is like 16 something or 17 something. Yeah, so the 2-year probably goes up to 2. The 10-year probably goes up to 2.4, 2.3, 2.4, and mortgage rates jump a half. That's what I think happens. Because again, the market thinks Ben Bernanke's in office and he's just going to do a 1/4 point every meeting. He's going to parade around and say nothing. Where I'm hoping he's got a little Paul Volcker in him and he's going to shock the market. So that's what I think. Now, stock market. Stock market does a 1/4 point, nothing. The Wall Street goes, thank God. He didn't hurt us. I had a rant at the end of my daily financial video this morning that I wasn't sure I was going to do, but I just had to get it off my chest. I'm starting to see more and more rich guys, rich guys meaning billionaires, get out on CNBC, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance, Fortune, Forbes, Real Deal, all these sites, basically going, the Fed's got to be more conservative and more cautious and all of these risks in the world and blah, blah, blah. All these freaking rich guys are saying, don't hurt me. Hurt Main Street instead. My fear is Jerome Powell's going to hurt Main Street instead of Wall Street. That's what I think. This guy wants to come up and say hi. If you don't know who this is Sonny. He will be getting this cone off tomorrow. Yeah, and he needs a bath. You stink. You're going down. And if he raises a half, the market will be open, right? Because it's 1:00 Eastern. It's got 3 hours, and there's Q&A after at 2:30. Let's just say he does a half. Then, more importantly, he gets in his Q&A and says, "Yep, we did a half. We said it was transitory. It's going to get worse. Blah blah blah." If he says something like "more of this is coming," Wall Street will flip out. 2-3% down that day. So I think I got everything. I think that's what happens. Powell. I mean, we have a choice, right? The rich own, I don't know, 70% of everything. Let's help Main Street. Yeah. So that's the choice that Powell has on Wednesday. And I say Powell, it's the entire board, but Powell's reputation is on the line. Chris, morning Zuber, does your average good or great fluctuate quarterly in your market due to asset prices, cost of capital, interest rates? Chris, it can adjust quarterly. I would say it doesn't generally move that fast. Yeah, it doesn't move that fast. Although I got to tell you, when rates jump a point, that certainly changed. I mean, historically speaking, it kind of changes once a year. Maybe in a really hot market, it changes about once a year. Because again, what we had the last year or so, rates have certainly popped, prices are up, but rents are up. So it's shocking how stable average is. If you go in and you just change the interest rate, which may go from 4 to 5% for an investment loan, but you don't adjust rent, yeah, it looks worse. But in the market we are in today, rents are exploding. And frankly, on a few of my deals, rates went up, but rents went so up, my yield got higher. Go figure. That's why it's not price, it's not interest rates, it's the combination, right? And we have this wage cycle going on. So Chris, just like the affordability index, which I talk about a lot, it is my safety net. It is my yellow light, right? Red, yellow, green. It doesn't change that fast. In fact, the affordability index in the state of California, car.org, used to be reported monthly. It was monthly forever. You can go back and look at the historical data. They finally said, you know what? Monthly's too much. It doesn't change that fast. So they do it quarterly now. So yeah, it doesn't really change that much. Good morning, Paul V. How are you? Good morning, Noko Don. Good morning, Jeffrey. How are you? Yeah, whiteboard. Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. You got it. Let me take that. Jeffrey gives me all these good ideas, so I got to do that for him or for us or whatever. 1, 2, 3, so on. Okay, Jeffrey, you got it. That stuff will be coming. Chester, good morning. How are you? Roldan, 3 offers declined in 2 weeks. No issues. I know my numbers and opportunities will keep popping up. I hope more and more people read that. I hope more people feel that. Roldan, you have units, so it's more comfortable for you. I get it, but everybody should feel that way, right? You see a deal, you want to offer 98 or 398 or 798, whatever it is, and that's your number. It's a great deal, and then somebody counters at 8.25 or 1.25 or whatever the other numbers I said. It's okay. Let them have it. Just move on to the next one. Move on to the next one. That's exactly the right attitude to have. Nice job. Eric, I think that the market will start strong until late summer here in Northeast Ohio. Yeah, Eric, I don't know any market but mine. I do my best to look nationally. I kind of look at my market And then because of this channel, I look at California. And then because of this channel, I look at the country. I don't know Ohio, let alone Northeast Ohio. So you guys are in the market. So when in doubt, I trust your opinion. So I agree with you. Oh, every no answer moves you close, nearer a yes. That is something I have believed since I was making 100 dials a day. The hardest job I ever had, folks, was cold calling. Back when cold calling was like a phone book and like dialing by hand. Woo! Yeah, I mean, it got to a point. The only way you could survive cold calling is you got addicted to no. Because I wouldn't leave until I had 100 no's. That was the metric I tracked. I remember one day we had a company meeting or whatever that went long, and I stayed until 8 p.m. to make those dials. Yeah. Yep. Totally agree. Better home rental. Reminder, just like in sales, the more you say no, the closer you will get to yes. Absolutely. Yeah. You know the word that I hate in sales? It's a 5-letter word. I would, if I heard this in a meeting, I would push. I would push. Maybe. Maybe is the worst word in sales. No is 100 times better than maybe. Maybe equals higher cost of sales. Maybe equals waste time. Maybe equals just they don't get it. This is for real estate too, right? You go talk to a seller, you go talk to an agent, you go talk to a contractor. Maybe suck. Give me a yes, give me a no, but don't you dare give me maybe. No, maybe suck. Yep. Recessions and depressions are the market response to central planning. I think recessions and depressions are a natural part of the capitalist system. I'm not sure it's fair to point at central planning. I think they're just part of the process. I think it's survival of the fittest. I think it's winter and summer. I think it's yin and yang. I think it is a mistake for central planners to try to not have recessions. I think that is true. I think you have lightning to clear forests. I think you have, I think a lot of the world and recessions and depressions are part of the cycle. I think the fact that we have so many companies today living on borrowed money is a crime. I think the fact that we didn't clear out the system last time is a crime. But I don't know that I blame central planning for that, but it's recessions and depressions need to be welcomed. They need to be taken advantage of. You need to prepare for. They hurt, right? The difference between a recession and a depression is it's a depression if you're laid off. It's a recession if your neighbor is. Yeah, they're definitely part of the system. They shouldn't be ignored. When you try to ignore it and you make it more bubblish, it's just paid with interest. And I think we're going to pay one with interest right now. Oh, I'm very nervous. Chester, will an increase in days on market mean motivated sellers? In case it does, what sort of time frame would you be likely to happen 3-6 months from now? Chester, it'll be very different in every market. Let's be very clear. I'm talking about a slowing market, not a crash. I would track it in your market for sure. Like my market of Fresno, California, because I've been looking at it for 21 years now. Days on market kind of usually ranged between 45 and 60 days. 45 being balanced, 60 days maybe more buyer's market, right? Kind of that range. Last time I checked, it's 18 days. So even if days on market doubled, we're still in a seller's market. So just how extreme is your market? I think it happens this year. It'll happen at different rates in different markets. Boise, Idaho, for example, is already seeing days on market expand and inventory build. It'll cascade across the country. Every market will be impacted, or at least most markets. So That's what I think. But just track it. I think buried inside a growing days on market are motivated sellers for sure. That's what I'm looking for. They will not. I don't think they'll be easy to find, but if you pay attention, you'll be able to find them. Nathan, question: what do you think of owner financing a rent to own transaction? I will apply part of rent towards purchase property and then carry the balance on a loan. Kind of like rent to own, I think. I've never done it, Nathan, so no experience. I would definitely talk to somebody who's experienced in it or an attorney, because again, I think what will happen in this case, if the tenant doesn't pay, Nathan, you'll have to foreclose versus evict. And a foreclosure process, generally speaking, is much longer than an eviction process. Because I know you're doing rent to own, but since you are applying some of the rent to, I don't know, a deposit or however you're going to do that, I think, and again, you'll have to check with an attorney, that you are putting yourself in a spot where you'll have to foreclose versus evict. But again, never done one, never looked at doing one. But yeah, that would be the question I would have. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, you're reducing your risk because they are the owner, right? In theory, depending on how the contract reads. So they're on the hook for maintenance. So yeah, that's what I think. Chris, what is a bad, average, good, great yield in your market? So in my market right now, it's pretty tight. 6% is average. So with that, anything below 6 is bad in my market. Good, call it 7.5. Anything over 8.5 is great. Certainly double digits is great. Yeah, let's see if I can grab my other puppy. Hey, people want to see you. Come here, Happy. Nobody's seen you in a while. Happy's the good girl. She gets her cone off tomorrow as well. But she's the one that sleeps all the time when I'm on the dailies. Okay, there we go. Go back. Go to sleep. I'm sorry. You're okay. Thank you for that, Jeffrey. I like showing my puppies. Yeah, the cones come off tomorrow, we hope. Pretty sure. Eric, do you think with all these companies stacking chips for a downturn, a 25 rate jump will even affect the market or economic movement? Economists are saying economy will be good until next year. No, I don't think a 25 basis point does anything. I think smart money, deep money, big money, rich folks laugh all the way to the bank. Yeah, 25 basis point does absolutely nothing. Nothing. What do you suggest for a burnt out buyer unwilling to pay crazy dollars? Continue renting and wait till May for something to show in my buy box, or look at a higher prices, a higher rates, and worser affordability? It depends if you're looking as a rental, an investment, or owner occ. If this is an owner occupant question, I'm really not your guy. There's a lot of reasons. As an owner, you would buy. I mean, when we bought our house in '99, we overpaid. It was the right location. It was the only one there. It was brand new. We overpaid. But those owner occupant decisions, I don't choose to play in because there's so many other decisions. We were going to live there until Teresa graduated high school, and we bought it and she was 6, I think. Didn't matter. Now, Ved, if you're asking me as an investor, not an owner occupant, just keep going. Again, I can only tell you that I wrote 100 offers in 2020 and was happy not to get any of them. I'm so non-emotional now. It doesn't matter. Now I realize that may sound arrogant or cocky. It is certainly not meant to be. But when you know your numbers and you only write good or great offers, if they want more, it's not good or great. You just move on. In my career, I have probably written 1,500, maybe even 1,800 or 2,000 offers. and didn't get them. Right? I have gotten 100, but 2,000. I just know my numbers, and I feel good when I submit it. And yeah, I yeah. For me, Ved, what kind of digging into your question a little bit more? If your buy box is still producing listings, I don't change a thing. But if what you're telling me your buy box is basically has 0 in it, then maybe you have to change. But if your buy box still has 12, 15, 20, 30 listings and you're just being outbid by crazy owners or investors, keep going. Your time will come. Don't this is the comment that freaks me out. This is the one that scares me, right? I send these cards out to everybody who closes a deal, but I'm so sensitive to the fact that a lot of people are trying and being outbid. Don't overpay. Don't overpay. A bad deal is always a bad deal. An average deal is always an average deal. In fact, they only get worse, right? So, yeah. Yeah. Janet, good morning. I love your color purple in your hair. Thank you. Well, you guys did the work, right? I should keep this over here. You guys did this. You guys did this in 10 months. 10 months. 10 months you guys did this. So you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to dye my hair. That was the deal. That was the deal. And let's not forget that Dion is the one who came up with that crazy idea. So, yeah, purple hair. Price doesn't concern me as much as sensible payment terms. Creative financing solve big problems for both buyers and sellers. Absolutely. Creative financing, seller financing, all of those things. It is typically speaking very hard to do, at least not as common in a hot market like we have today. But you and I both been investing for a long time. The market will turn, it will slow down. Seller or creative financing will become common. It's why it's in my course. It's why we have seller financing as a bonus section. It's why we have creative financing in sub 2 in the bonus sections, because it's coming. Today, there's no inventory, so people pay what they have to, but that will change. Sean, when do you think the Fed will invert the yield curve? Well, first, I don't think the Fed does that. They just control the front end. So I don't think the Fed will ever invert the yield curve. I don't think that's how it works. When will the market or when will the yield curve be inverted? I think it's dangerously close. I think we're talking the 2 and 10s, just so we're clear, 2-year and 10-year. I think I checked this morning. It's 27 basis points. I don't know. Let's have fun with this. When do I think the yield curve inverts? March 12th. Let's see. Why not? Tax day, on or before tax day, which I think this year is April 17th, because I think the 15th is a weekend. So I'm going to say by April 17th, the yield curve, again, specifically speaking, the 2 and 10s will be inverted. Yeah, that's what I'll say. What do you think, Sean? Let me know below. How do you feel about the Miami market? The prices are even more expensive than Los Angeles. I did a video, I don't know, was it 60 days ago, that Miami is now the most unaffordable market in the country. It's more unaffordable than New York City, than LA County. And there's a lot of reasons for it. They've had unbelievable migration. They have a local and state government that's very friendly. They don't have King Newsom, and he's not our governor. He's a king because, of course, he has emergency powers that can allow him to do anything. So he's a king. I think there's a lot of reasons that Florida and Miami specifically are rocking and rolling. Again, most unaffordable market in the country. So if you can find an off-market deal that makes sense, it's awesome. But I certainly, as a brand new investor who doesn't live in Miami, that if the market is the most unaffordable, I think I'm going somewhere else. Now, if it's owner-occ and you want to live by the water and have a view of beautiful blue water, different question, right? Owner-occ versus investor. Yeah, very different. In the 70s, the majority of family of four lived on one paycheck. Today, it requires two, nearly 70% of paycheck to paycheck. Is the consumer more vulnerable than ever? Are they tapped out, stalling rents? No, I don't think they're more vulnerable than ever. I lived through the 70s. You are correct. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad worked. He didn't was not high paying by any means. He was laid off 3-4 times during the 70s and 80s. It's just like real estate, right? Are you more does a vacancy hurt more if you have one paycheck or one unit or if you have two? I think families were far more at risk with one income. I think they were far more vulnerable. If that one income source was cut off like ours was, you're eating ramen noodles and baked potatoes all day because you don't have a second income. Today, a second income is very helpful. Prices are up, but at least you have a second income, so you could limp through. You could pay the minimums. So no, I think anytime you're based on one income, you're certainly more vulnerable than if there's two, right? Certainly, if you have a house versus a duplex, if you lose one tenant in a house, it's 100% vacant. So no, I think that is I think people were more vulnerable in the 70s. Maybe that's because I lived through it and it still scars me, but whatever. Is the consumer more vulnerable than ever? Are they tapped out or stalling rents? Well, so the second part of your question. I think we live in a society that I think I read a stat: 62% of people live paycheck to paycheck, and I think it was 48 or 45% of people who make $100,000 live paycheck to paycheck. But that was the same in the 70s or thereabouts. That was the same in the 80s. Keeping up with the Joneses, sacrifice, delayed gratification. These are things that are not suddenly new. Something that's existed since the 50s, right? So to think today is any different than the last several decades is it's certainly recency bias. Believe me, I'm not saying it's good today. I'm not saying it's better today. I'm just saying we've always been horrible. We have been, traditionally speaking, horrible savers. Most folks don't like delayed gratification. Most folks don't like sacrifice. Anybody that I know that's earned financial freedom, they had a decade of their life that you would not want because they sacrificed. They did things that they got uncomfortable. Right? Anna Kelly, who I talk to every Wednesday, talked about moving into a fourplex with 2 kids after moving out of her big house. Dion rented out a house and moved into a duplex. The lumberjack, he moved 9 times. Spencer Cornelia in Vegas has roommates. Todd Baldwin has roommates. If you're willing to sacrifice and get after it, you can do it. But if you're just living day by day and YOLO in life, yeah. Sorry, a little bit of a rant. Larry, morning. How are you? Morning, Larry. Chris, good morning. How you doing, Chris? Oh, your whiteboard comment was George Gammon. I've seen some of his stuff. Yeah. Yeah, he's very good at whiteboards, but he certainly he lives in Medellin, Colombia. Anybody been to Medellin, Colombia? I have. It's a nice place. But yeah, he lives in Medellin, Colombia. Chris, I have an investment property on a VA loan. Okay, thank you for your service. 2.65. Wow. Should I look at a HELOC to grab equity, about 150K in equity? So it's an investment property. That's good. So I wouldn't refi that by any means. Wouldn't change that. Keep that. You might want to get a HELOC for dry powder. Now, don't use it. Realize that if the banks get scared, HELOCs can be shut down. My question would be what you would do with the 150 grand or 100 grand or 50 grand, right? You're in the stage where you're still growing. That's what I did. If you read my book, One Rental at a Time, we didn't do HELOCs because at the time it was easier to refi and rates were falling. So we did cash out refis. Same deal. if you're in your growth phase, it's called recycling capital. Recycling capital was something I didn't appreciate until after I was done and I did the math. If you're growing, recycling capital is like it's a turbocharge. But you got to do it right. You got to be conservative. Don't spend your HELOC on toys. Yeah. Yeah, George Gammon, whiteboard expert. Yeah. I have to go watch some more of his to see how he does it. That's a good point. Any plans to do a small one day live in SoCal? Excuse me. I'll call it interest. I want to do one. We haven't gotten around to dates yet. Yeah, it's something I want to do for sure. Yeah, definitely. Adrian, maybe. Or not today. Don't mean no in 6 months. What was that in reference to? I think there was a question I asked you to look at. Oh, that's the HELOC, or that was the. I think you're talking about yield curve. So okay, cool. Sean, good morning. Any thoughts on San Francisco market? I'm visiting this weekend, and it seems to be busier and cleaner. Finally, I hate San Francisco. Certainly a bias. I've worked in San Francisco for years. I have Warriors season tickets, so I see it up close and personal. I see the homeless. I see it all. There's less people, less companies, so hopefully it's cleaner. Jeez, I think they're finally getting serious about different parts. I don't trust San Francisco government, frankly. It's a great city to visit. The Wharf, Fisherman's Wharf, Lombard Street. I mean, San Francisco has a lot to offer. The skyline, but man, I could never live there. Oh my God, socialist capital of the world. Oh, no thanks. Actually, just San Francisco is so bad. I'm canceling my Warriors season tickets. I'm tired of taking the train and walking by homeless and then walking back to the train or parking in the garage and seeing it. It's just unsafe. It's just, geez. I mean, yeah. So no more Warriors season tickets for me. I love the Warriors. If they were still in Oakland, I would still have them. But San Francisco is getting worse. They have all these rules and mandates and all this stuff. It's just not worth it. Not for me. Not for me. Purple looks good. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's all because of you. You guys did it. Steve, good morning, Michael. I have a starter home now, and I'm looking to buy my dream. Oh, good for you. Should I wait and save cash for now and wait for lower price later? Because we can't find anything right now. Again, I don't know what market you're in. Dream home, just like your first home, starter home. That's owner occupant. This seems like an owner occupant question. Who knows? Certainly, if I found my dream home, we would buy it almost regardless of price. That's where you're going to be. It's where your family is. It's not an investment decision. What I teach about, what I talk about, what I do is investments. I look at yield, cash on cash, and I'm agnostic. I don't care that it's on Main Street or it's purple or it's 4 bedrooms or 2 bedrooms or one. There's just things with an investment property that are logical to me, and they're not owner occupant. So I can't answer that question. And then secondly, I don't know what market you're in, but thinking prices are coming down, I don't see that happening in most markets. Certainly some prices will come down, but I don't think they come down in most markets. How much can you actually save in fees by the bank if you do your own escrow? No idea. There's no chance I would do my own escrow. I'm paying for title insurance, at least in California. That's important to me. I've had a title claim back in the day, so I have no idea. It's not something I would do. I've done deals without agents, if that's what you're asking about. So I've had the seller not pay the 6%, but there's no chance I'm doing a deal without title and escrow. No chance. But if you're talking about real estate agents, yeah, I've probably done 30 deals without agents. Rob, can you elaborate on why you use interest only on the spreadsheet and not principal? Yes, because when I built the spreadsheet, I had to have a model that was very simple and anybody could use. I've told everybody to use their actual mortgage. Um, some people are good at Excel and some people are bad at Excel. So I had to use something that was very straightforward. But you should put in your actual mortgage payment, right? If you're good enough with Excel, there's a formula called payment. It's PMT is this symbol. If you're not, you can use a mortgage calculator online. But yeah, I put in something that was very straightforward because I was building something for any time. When I built that, the payments were pretty good, and then interest rates crashed to 3%, and now they don't look so good. But yeah, it's just simple. That was the key. I was building a model and a template that could work anywhere. Yeah. Purple makes you look fresh. Awesome. Thanks, Antonio. I appreciate that. Went to CVS yesterday. Employee informed me they were getting their products from delayed unloading of ships in the port. Valentine's Day stuff until May, and it gets straight to 50% mark off. Yeah, I told people this was coming. Again, that's why I do these daily financial shows. I told you, I think it was in December, that retailers started, they had all these orders, they weren't showing up. Then they started shipping them by air. And what was going to happen is all this stuff in the ports would eventually get undone and they would go right to sale. I mean, realtors are going to get smashed. They're going to have more inventory because both the ship showed up and the air showed up. Half the inventory is going to be off season. Oh, yeah, not good. Mike, do you think hedge funds, iBuyers increase the market share of investment properties for small investors in the next 1 to 5 years? No. I think iBuyers, well, let's separate them. I think iBuyers will cease to exist in 24 months. iBuyers are just bad at it. They're just bad. They're losing hundreds of millions of dollars. The only reason they're still doing it is because they can borrow cheap money and they can sell shares. I think iBuying, at least at the scale that they've been doing, just stops inside of 2 years. I mean, Zillow is already out, right? Lost half a $500 billion or $500 million. No, 600 million? I don't know, $500 million. Redfin just reported, I think. OfferPad, I mean, they just all suck. So iBuyers will go away. Hedge funds, different problem. I've been doing more and more digging on build to rent. And I think hedge funds are going to dominate build for rent. I think the days of hedge funds buying onesie, twosie houses will be over. I think they're just going to buy entire neighborhoods. So that's kind of good news, bad news. The good news is they're going to stop competing with you and me. They can't get scale when they buy onesie, twosie out of the MLS. There's no scale. They go right to Lennar, right? I think I talked about it yesterday or the day before. Lennar's going to build 7,500 homes. That's all for hedge funds. All iBuyers are hedge funds. Or I'm sorry. Again, iBuyers go away. Hedge funds buy build for rent. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I think hedge funds are here to stay. I think the best risk-adjusted returns a single-family home. I think they must have read one rental at a time and going, hey, we could buy 100 at a time. So they're around. They're not going anywhere. I do think they stopped competing with us. I think they hate old homes. They'd rather buy new. I think the beauty of a hedge fund is once you figure out their buy box, you can buy around them. That's what I've been doing. Yeah. Anything they do hurts Main Street. Don't raise rates and inflation happens. Raise rates and recession happens and losing jobs hurts Main Street. People need to quit buying stuff that hurts rich. Yeah, basically. Yep. Chris, hi, Happy. Oh, somebody said hi. What do we got? I bought a SFR to house hack with an ADU in the backyard. That is now rented. Cool. Now I realize that my municipality ordinance says I can't have both rented out when I move. Do you know of any workarounds? Good news for you, James. I interviewed just yesterday for the very first time. Um, I think he goes by the moniker that ADU guy. I'm not an ADU person. I'm trying to build my first one and having problems. So I'm going to go to him for help. So I would reach out to him, James. I don't know. I don't know your municipality. I don't know the rules. I've never done one. But I did an interview with him yesterday. It posted at 5 p.m. He seemed to know his stuff. So I'd reach out to him. Sonny and Happy are the best millionaire guests. They are certainly the most spoiled, and they should be. They are, and they will always be spoiled. Yes. That's funny. Do you think, even though it's painful, we can inflate our way out of our national debt issue, or does inflation make it worse because we hate pain and will continue to overpay spend? Oh, wow. So yeah, I think I think inflation is going to be part of the story of the decade. I mean, that's what the 1970s have taught me. I think when you look back, in 10 years, the 2020s, I suspect inflation will average 4%, maybe 4.5. Anything above 2% inflates away the debt at a pretty good rate. Anything above 2. So I think we're going to average 4.5. I think that's going to help. Absolutely. Yeah, politicians hate pain. Let's be clear. All right. They run in 4-year cycles, which leads to bad decisions. So yeah, we try to, like Jeffrey said earlier, or he hinted at earlier, the recessions and depressions are part of the cycle. We just don't want to have the clearing of the forest for some reason. So yeah. No condon. The last few offers were beat out by cash buyers, 25K over minimum. So my question to you is, run the numbers. Would a 25K over be a good deal? Would it be a bad deal? If it's still a good or great deal by paying 25K over, then buckle up. If 25K over makes it a bad deal, who cares? They made a bad deal. Yeah. One of the things I would do is, if I was getting beat out a lot in the beginning, is I would run the numbers on the values that were closed, because maybe I'm missing something. Yeah. Good morning, Mike. Hi, Mike. At 50 basis points or more, it'll invert. If they go 25, it won't, because futures will. Yeah, I agree. Yep. My theory for a long time has been that we'll have inflation at some point, and the U.S. has one chance left to have 70 style inflation to make the debt level irrelevant, but lose reserve currency status. I don't think there's a chance we lose currency reserve status in my lifetime, and I hope I live at least 50 years. I don't know who would step in and be the reserve currency. It's not going to be the Russian ruble. It's not going to be the Chinese yuan or renminbi or whatever it is. It's not going to be the Indian rupee. It's not going to be Bitcoin. It's not going to be gold. Could be a basket of goods, sure, but good luck getting everybody to agree on ratios. I'm not sure. Australian dollar, Canadian. Yeah, I don't see the US losing reserve currency in my lifetime, and I'm hoping I live 50 years. Could it happen? Sure. Could happen. I don't see it though. I think the yield curve inverts late 2023. Wow. In a recession in 2024. Okay. I like it. All right. Wow. 2023. Wow, that's not too far. That's 9 months away. Oh no, you said late 23. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I like it. I think it inverts much sooner than that, but we'll see. Yeah, you don't fix a solvency problem with liquidity. Amen to that. Cool. That was really good answer on Chris Webb question. Oh, cool. I don't even remember the question. But I'm glad I got one right. A few years ago, I had a HELOC, and the bank gave me sufficient notice that it was shutting mine down. I was able to pay it off, and that was pay that off. That was inconvenient for other people. It's a disaster. Yes, absolutely. If the recession occurs, consumer travel will go down, Airbnb slow down, or in trouble. Well, I think Airbnbs are in trouble anyway. I think there's been too many people that think Airbnbs are easy. I think there's too many people. Anytime the consumer chases easy, it leads to problems. And I think Airbnb is being celebrated as the easy thing to do. And this is from a guy who added Airbnb to his bonus section because so many people were asking. So it's there, believe me. I think it can work. I think Anna Kelly is showing us how it does work, right? You go buy beachfront property, you go buy, just things that always work. The thing about travel is you got to remember certain type of travel goes down, right? You won't go do a trip to Greece, but you'll take a trip to the ocean. People talk about, or I talk about unemployment going to 8%. That still means 92% of the people are employed, right? The worst of the worst we had during the March unemployment was it 16 or 17%? That still meant 83% of the people were employed. So no, vacations will still happen. We still are addicted to, recharge time, rest and repeat, all of that. Yeah. So some travel will go down for sure. I have hesitation to buy right now with fears that when rate comes around in 5 to 7 years, interest rates could be way higher. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like you might be in Canada, or maybe you're buying commercial. Again, one guy's opinion, I have no debt at this point that resets anything less than 30 years. I don't want any 5-year arms, 3-year arms, 7-year arms. No chance. I have no idea where this freaking thing's going. No idea. So I spent, and if you watch my channel, go back and look at the older videos. I spent 6 months refining office buildings and apartments, and yeah. So yeah, I would not buy. I wouldn't do a deal today with 5-year adjustable rate mortgage. I would, but again, I live in a country that has 30-year mortgage. You have to, when I talk like this, like Canada, I believe only offers up to 5 years, and maybe some special cases 10. That's hard. That's tough. Ryan, thank you for all you do. Appreciate that. I'm in SoCal, and it owner occupied for myself and our family. Thank you, Michael, for all you got it. No problem. Build for rent will be in big trouble when they appear in blue states. I don't see them coming to blue states. I think they're smarter than that. Hey, Stephen, how are you? Thank you for your donation. Stephen Dow with the big donation to the food bank. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Love your hedge fund answer. We have a couple appearing here in our Midwest market. We had to compete against them, but the wholesalers have told us they're buy box, so they're easy to predict. Simple, simple, simple. Could you please talk about flood zone properties? Have you ever invested in one? Not on purpose. I bought a house from a from a wholesaler once in an area of town where I own lots of stuff, and I tried to go get it insured, and it was in a flood zone. Like, how is this in a flood zone? Where's the water coming from? Anyways, it was marked in a 100-year map. I ended up having to spend, I want to say 5,000. It might have been 4,000, getting a land survey that took it out of the flood zone. And then my insurance went way down. I don't remember exactly, but I think the insurance I had to pay when it was in a flood zone was like $5,000. And when it was out of a flood zone was like 900. So generally speaking, yeah, that's my one experience with flood zones. I can only talk about what I've done. I don't own anything on the water. I don't own anything other than that one experience. I still remember the street. It was LaSalle. LaSalle, yeah. All right, one more question, and then I got to get over to my private Facebook group. Tamika, when increasing portfolio, does buying small multi-family investments always require 20 thirds down, or are there mortgage lenders? So usually for me, it's always been 25%. But I think it was Matt, the mortgage guy, 2 weeks ago, might have been 3. He talked about FHFA doing 15% products now. So I'd reach out to Matt, the mortgage guy. Yeah. Now, again, that's up to a fourplex. He doesn't do commercial. So if it's 5 and above, Tamika, doesn't play. You'd have to go to a commercial lender or, a non-QM lender like Steven. In that case, you're going to have to put 25% down, I think. Yeah. Yep. Build for rent, is 100 homes enough or no, in your opinion? I'm not sure what that means. Adrian. Do you mean it's enough for a builder? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what that question means. I don't know what that means. How high will gas prices in the Bay Area have to be for it to have a major negative impact on the economy here in the Bay Area? So like Mountain View, Palo Alto, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, Cupertino, Los Altos, Los Gatos, probably $10 a gallon, maybe 12. That's my guess. Yeah. In the Bay Area, people out here make silly money. A lot of them have Teslas too. I like in my community, I think there's like 300 homes, maybe 350. I bet you there's 250 Teslas. Doesn't matter. I mean, good for them. Yeah. All right. One more question. This is fun. Can a commodity such as oil become the reserve currency? Nope. Cannot. All right. There we go. I got to get going. So what does we got? So I don't know. Let's see. Thank you. Cool. All right. 102 people watching, 28 thumbs up. I've been talking for 58 minutes. Help me out. Like, please. I mean, geez. Also subscribe. We do a daily show at 7:30 every day except Thursday, which is now 7. We talk to millionaires every week for you. Again, one rental at a time. My hair is purple because of you. You closed 500 deals. Take care of yourself. If you want to know how one rental at a time got started 20 years ago, buy the course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, and then join the Facebook group, which I'm going to go to right now. Bye-bye.